So there's a concept that I was taught by a particular person. Is this a good angle for you? Or do you want me to move that back a bit?
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll
So
just sit beside
there's
you.
a person that kind of changed my life. And the concept that this person went and introduced me to is something that is not within the realm of conventional thinking. It is something really way out there. It's not way out there. It's out there, but nobody really knows it. So I'm glad I'm bringing this to your awareness. And what I'd like to do right now is introduce you to the stick person. Okay. So this was a concept that was first drawn up by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Thurman Fleet back in 1934. He was a chiropractic doctor in San Antonio, Texas, I believe. And he said there's a problem with the healing arts. We're basically dealing with symptoms and not with the body on a holistic basis. And part of the problem is that nobody really understood what the mind is. Now, if I ask you what image comes to your mind when I say the mind, what do you think of? Are you inclined to think of the brain?
I guess so.
Right? That's what I first thought of, right? And the fact of the matter is a brain is just our biggest organ in our body, right? Most important one. It's an electrical switching station. It transfers my thought energy into electrical impulses that cause me to do the hand gestures that I do, allows me to speak, right? Takes care of 96% of my behavior is all controlled by my mind. And he said in order to understand the mind, there's no clear picture, nobody's ever seen it. So in order to understand it, we need an image. So this is what we're going to, he drew the stick person. So we're going to let the big circle represent the mind, the small circle represent the body. And it's not really like that in actuality because the body is an instrument of the mind. The mind is in every cell of the body. All right? So we're going to split the mind in half. We're going to let the top part of the mind be the conscious mind. And we're going to let the bottom part of this circle be the subconscious mind. Okay, so our conscious mind is our thinking mind. And our subconscious is the emotional mind. Okay, so in our conscious mind, we gather all of our knowledge. We do our thinking. We do the conscious thoughts that we create images from. Okay, in the conscious mind, we have our 6 higher mental faculties, which are the will, intuition, perception, imagination, memory, and reason. Okay, with the higher faculty of reason, gives us the ability to think. So the way this kind of works is that we think thoughts are thoughts that we think are true and real. We can impress upon our subconscious mind, where an emotional energy is applied to those thoughts. All right. So whether our thoughts are positive or negative, what we're going to impress upon our subconscious mind will turn into the emotional state, a positive emotional state or a negative emotional state. Now our subconscious mind, because it's in control of our body, we don't think about regulating our heartbeat or our lungs or breathing or whatever goes on in our body. It's all controlled by our subconscious mind. We set up a vibration in our body. Okay, that vibration we call feelings. And feelings is a word that we created to describe conscious awareness of the vibration our body is in. So if I had one thing I should tell you as well is that our 5 senses are hooked solidly into our conscious mind. Okay, and it's through certain things like perception and willpower that we can filter out all the information that our senses bring into us. So we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. All right, and our seeing and hearing are probably our most important senses. Right now, you guys are focused in on what I'm saying, and you're looking at what I'm drawing, so you're using those 2 senses. The fact of the matter is that you guys are still feeling things, tasting and smelling things, but you may not be aware of them. such as you're sitting down on a couch. Are you aware that you're sitting on a couch? None of you are holding pens, but if you were, me bringing that to your attention would say, oh yeah, I'm holding a pen, right? So we tend to block out a lot of that information in order to focus in on things that are important to us, right? So that's the wonderful thing about our conscious faculties. We can actually tune into those, strengthen them to be able to do that. Now here's the thing that's happening. Right now we have our current results, okay? And sometimes those results may not be what we want, okay? But we see those results and we use these two senses to take in information from what's going on the outside. Okay, so our bank account's a little low, maybe the car needs repaired, the kid's sick, something along those lines. We see those results and we start thinking thoughts, right? We start getting worry and doubt enter our thinking mind. Bank account's a little low, well, how am I going to pay my bills? I hope the kid gets over this sickness, I hope it's nothing serious. The car, there's another bill that I have to pay. All of this worry and doubt is what we conceive to be true and real, okay? So therefore we impress it upon our subconscious mind and we set up fear as the emotion in our subconscious mind. That manifests in our body as anxiety. Okay, and anxiety isn't something that we express readily. It's something that we bottle up, we keep it inside, right? And that causes all kinds of issues with our chemistry in our body. We have stress hormones, all kinds of stress peptides getting in there. And the really terrible thing about this is that we stay in this realm of thinking for a long period of time, our body physically, chemically gets addicted to that setup, okay? So even though we might be having some good thoughts, we might be trying to stay in a positive mindset, our bodies will wake up one morning and say, hey, Steve, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's time for you to be in a panic attack. And I've suffered these for quite a long time, right? Your body's telling you the chemistry that's going on. It's the clock. It's telling you it's time to be in anxiety. And then all of a sudden, these happy thoughts switch to the worry and doubt again, right? And it then builds fear, and we get more anxiety, right? And the thing is that when we're in anxiety, or when we're in a vibration of any kind, we'll put out actions out into our environment, okay? And our actions will be in parallel to the vibration our body is in. So if we're in a state of anxiety, we're going to have negative actions going out to our environment. And the law of attraction says whatever you put out, you're going to get back. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get more negative reactions from our environment. And therefore, we're going to have negative results. More negative results. More things to worry and doubt about. More fear to be in. More anxiety. More negative actions. More negative results. It's a perpetual cycle, right? So there's a way of breaking out of this. Most people, 96% of the people on the planet, and I can attest to this because I used to be one, do not think. They live in this basis where their emotional state takes over their thinking. They have a circumstance come along to them, right? And the first thing that our brains are wired for survival, right? Like hardwired for survival. Like the first thing that you see in any circumstance that comes up is the negative things about it. The brain says, oh, watch out, we're going to survive this. And all of a sudden the worry and doubt, the fear, the anxiety all culminate and we react to our circumstance. So what we need to do is learn intellectual objectivity, okay? We have to kind of understand that we're going to see our results, but we can't get emotionally involved with it anymore, all right? We're still going to notice them, but we're going to say, okay, these are the results that we're getting, but my brain's handed me the bad stuff, but with the bad, there's got to be good. Okay, that's the law of polarity. There's no such thing as an up without a down, no such thing as an inside without an out, or a negative without a positive. So if you're seeing the negative, you know there's got to be positive with it. It may not be apparent, it may not be right in front of you, but there's something good that went on. So for an example, my car broke down on the way into work. I was late for work, right? What's the good in that? Well, maybe I avoided an accident on the highway, or maybe I, avoided something at work that would have caused a situation, right? You never know. There's always good with whatever you perceive to be bad. So the next thing that we need to do is that we need to understand that we as humans are natural goal-seeking creatures, okay? We want to achieve things. When we pop out of the womb, the first thing we want to do is communicate, right? We learn how to communicate by mimicking our parents. The next thing we want to do is get the goal of being able to move around, traverse, right? We start walking, and then it progresses from there. We start learning language, we start understanding how the world works, we do all kinds of wonderful things, and everything that we learn is a progression towards a goal. We're not consciously aware of it at that stage of the game because our conscious mind isn't built yet, but we're watching things. It's like our conscious mind doesn't exist. Everything that's going on is going into our subconscious mind, and that's where we build a thing called the paradigm. Have you ever heard of paradigm before? Do you know what a paradigm is? Okay, the way it was described to me is that the paradigm is a nest of habits that we've accumulated during the course of our lives. And a habit is an idea or a group of ideas that are fixed in the subconscious mind. Okay, so our beliefs are sequestered in our paradigm, our self-image, our logic, and all of the habitual thoughts and behaviors that we exhibit during the course of the day are controlled by the paradigm. As I said before, 96 to 98% of our behavior is controlled by the paradigm. Okay, it's habitual behavior. You look at the routine you get into in the morning, right? You get up at the same time, you get a cup of coffee, you read the newspaper, you go to work the same way every time, right? You can actually get behind the wheel of your car, arrive at work, and kind of go like, how the hell I get here, right? So the paradigm is a really, it's the most important thing that we need to understand. And it can be a nasty, insidious bastard, because when we shut off our conscious thinking, it starts handing us reruns. And that's how, when our body starts giving us anxiety, those reruns just come back to us. Does that make sense? It triggers the memories, and it triggers the reruns from previous times. Next thing you know, back into worry, doubt, fear, and anxiety. So, what we need to do as humans, and if you go out into public and you ask somebody, do you have a goal that you want to achieve? They'll just kind of go, they'll either look at you like you got two heads, you don't have a goal. Or if they say, oh yeah, I got a goal, you can ask them, do you have it written down? And I guarantee you, they won't have it written down, right? Without having it written down, it's all thought. It's thought energy. It comes and goes. It's very fluid and very misty. But here's the thing, the goal is something that you've never done before. Something that you'll only do once. Big, huge goal.
I'll give you a goal. I'm actually going to move in 2 years.
Good.
This Grace Gallery is going to move in 2 years.
Awesome.
So my plan is, it is going to be a multi-million-dollar move. It's going to have to be. That's why I got registered as not-for-profit, was so that I can get grants and then eventually get that money and go and open up the gallery elsewhere. I have been shown 5 different buildings. One is a vacant lot, the other 4 are actual buildings that exist. So it's just a matter of, from now to 2 years, anywhere between 2 and 4 years.
See how passionate you are about that?
Yeah.
That's the same thing that we got to get everybody doing.
It is written down and it is blueprint. I got blueprints.
And you've got a plan,
Yeah.
plan to progress on. Okay, so here's the thing about this. Taking action on that plan is going to get you to that stage faster than you want to.
Yeah.
But it's the paradigm that's going to hold us back. All right, but let me continue on with this. We have a goal that we want to achieve, right? Now you can see from Aiden's excitement, this is a really good idea, right? So, in any case, we bring that idea down here into our conscious mind and we start thinking about it, okay? This is when we consider it to be the point of reason. right? Aiden's kind of thought about this, he's kind of weighed it out, he says, okay, this is a great idea. Now he's getting emotionally charged with it, which means that he's impressed it upon his subconscious mind. Okay, and he's really excited, that's a cloud, and he's really excited about it, all right? So he's in a positive energy state, or a positive emotional state. This places his body in a positive vibration, all right? So he's eliminated, first off, worry and doubt. He's no longer in fear. He's in an emotional state of happiness or joy. Okay? And this anxiety gets eliminated as well. It turns into excitement. Hoping I'm spelling things right. No points for spelling. Excitement. Next thing you know, you're putting out actions out into your environment. Now this is where the action comes in, right? Mm-hmm. What's the first step you have to take? Well, let's go take action, all right? The fact that you're taking action is going to cause your paradigm to freak the f out. Okay, well, was that an F-bomb? Sorry. Freak the hell out, okay? But that's, I'll talk about that in a minute.
That's actually a worse word to use.
So, anyway, you place that action out into the environment, you get a positive reaction because things are going to start working towards you and working towards getting there. And this is also the spiritual aspect of this, is that God's supporting you by bringing this to you, right? And then next thing you know, these negative results start turning into positive results, and Grace Gallery gets built 2 years ahead of time. So here's the thing that goes on. We've been in a state of what we consider to be bondage. I have my black marker here, okay? So for 25 years, 35 years in my case, I was conditioned to work in a certain way, to think in a certain way, that I could only be so much, do so much, and have so much. Caused me to have X-type thinking. It's just an unknown value. We call it X-type thinking. So the X-type thinking gives us an X-type emotional state, which causes our body to work in an X-type of vibration, and we get X-type actions, we get X-type reactions, and X-type results. It's the same thing year after year after year. Now all of a sudden we get this goal idea, and we bring it into our conscious mind and we start toying with it, right, on an intellectual level. So we bring in a why idea. Okay? The why idea is something that gets us excited, as Aiden pointed out. You can see his emotional state about it. So the why idea, we start impressing upon our subconscious mind, and it gives us joy and happiness, which is in complete conflict with the fear that we've been living in for so long. Now we have an XY type of thinking with XY emotional state. Next thing you know, we got XY vibration in our body, and that's a hell of a state, right? It's like seriously messed up, right? We want to take action, but our paradigm says, no, 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 X-type self-image, X-type logic, X-type conditioning. You guys come back here, Aiden. Don't step out of your comfort zone, come back here. This is a real hectic time. Now, the first roadblock that comes up for Aiden, right? The building that he wants, and he wants desperately, isn't available. Oh, I don't know what to do anymore. I think this is too much. And the paradigm says, come on back to your comfort zone. And he gives up, and Grace Gallery never moves, or it could even shut the doors if it has to be done in 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got to learn how to overcome the paradigm. We've got to learn how to overcome the negative thinking that we used to do. So there's 2 ways to overcome a paradigm, or not overcome, but shift the paradigm. One is through sudden emotional impact, okay? And sudden emotional impacts are not very good at most times. Like, are we all old enough to remember 9/11? Yeah. Do you remember exactly where you were when that happened? Yep. It's like a just incredible, vivid image that I have in my mind when I saw that happen on TV. Yeah. So that's a kind of an emotional impact, right? People that suffer from PTSD suffer from that sort of a thing as well. Right? Sudden emotional impact creates an image in their mind. So the paradigm needs to be shifted. Okay, so our X-type conditioning needs to be changed. Our X-type thoughts need to be, okay, here I'm Aiden, I've got Grace Gallery here, right? This is where it is right now, this is all it can be, this is all it can do. But I now want to shift to having my new location in a bigger, better museum, or not museum, gallery. And we've got to get Aiden's self-confidence up here. We've got to get his self-image up here. We've got to get his logic to say he can achieve this. And the only way that you can do that is by changing one habit at a time through constant spaced repetition. Okay? So these positive affirmations that you hear so much about, right? Everybody, I'm so happy and grateful now that I've won the lottery. Or now that I've got, my kids are growing up and they're moved out of the house. Well, these are the wrong type of affirmations. They don't get you towards your goal, right? So what we have to do is create this positive affirmation that says, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have got my building that I've wanted for a year. Now that God's providing me with all the resources and the people that I need, right? Being in a state of gratitude while you're repeating this thing. Because the universe is an emotional place. The subconscious mind is actually our connection to the universe. If we're not in a solid emotional state of gratitude all the time, we're going to keep getting the results that we're currently getting. Right? So creating a positive affirmation and just reading the words isn't going to cut it for you. You have to believe those words. You have to have gratitude. You have to have an emotional state come in so that you can have the results that you want. Right? So the mind literally controls our physiology as well. Right? As I said, we stay in this type of doubt, fear, and anxiety, we're going to get all kinds of maladies coming up, right? Nervous disorders, intestinal issues, indigestion, mental issues. Obviously. Heart attacks, right?
Panic attacks.
Panic attacks, right? So all of these physical conditions that we get is really, the basis of it is what we think. We can be thinking about a positive thing, or we can be thinking about a negative thing. Now, both things have to cause us to believe in something that is invisible. Okay? Right now, our goal is invisible. We can see it as an image in our mind, or at least for Aiden's idea of a gallery, I don't know what the hell that looks like, only he does. It's invisible to everybody else except himself.
I can show you the blueprint.
Awesome. Then worry and doubt, same sort of thing. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? Oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? All of this negative stuff's coming in all around me, right? And it's what we're projecting our future to be, right? So, to get rid of this worry and doubt, we've got to let go of our experiences that we've had in the past. Yep, we've had some bad ones, but we can't keep rerunning those, right? So there's the law of forgiveness that comes in here. Forgiving is to let go of completely and abandon, right? Anybody that's hurt you in the past, you forgive them. You forgive yourself for hurting anyone that you've hurt, right? Either intentionally or unintentionally. And you let go of that baggage. And then you start thinking about the goal that you want to achieve. How big a business, how much service, and here's the thing about this, and I think this is where I was going from before. Most people say, I want a big house, I want a boat, I want a jet ski, I want the Ferrari and the helicopter pad, and all of these great material things are things that excite us about achieving a goal. But what's our goal? How can we serve people, right? The more people we serve, the more material rewards we'll get, right? The more we can tithe, the more we can apply those material things back into our business so that we can serve more people.